Hey everybody, a big welcome back, and if you've never been to my channel before, a big welcome for the first time. My name's Mike, CDN Studman, Canadian Studman, whatever you want to say. Anyway, today is a flight. It's kind of long, it's like 17 minutes, but I just said screw it and put up the whole thing instead of editing it, and I just figured I'll flap my gums for the whole time. Here I kind of just paused to check out the clouds because they looked really cool, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I should take a picture, and then I never even took a picture. So screen capture. Anyway. What happened here is I'll explain the situation, what I'm doing, where we are. We'd gone to Port Dover for the bike rally, which is every Friday the 13th, all the bikes go down to Port Dover. And we saw several accidents throughout the day, and on the way home, actually there was four bikes involved in an accident. I was listening to the police scanner on my phone, which is like a free app if you've never had it. It's you just check the app store for the police scanner, and so we could see lights in the distance and stuff, and that's when I turned the app on. Actually, then we heard that there was four bikes involved in an accident, and only three of them ended up needing to be towed, but they had it blocked off. So up here they had we had to kind of like detour around the accident, so we couldn't even get close. But when we were there going through the detour, there's a bunch of fire trucks, ambulances, police everywhere, everything. And so, I was with my buddy, and I was like, I don't know, is it disrespectful to fly over the scene or whatever? Because I always, I never want to overdo it, you know what I mean? And I don't want to be the guy that they create laws for. But so, and I was like, well, you know what, I'll keep my distance, but I'll go check it out. So we went and we parked over there, because that was the first like real good spot to pull over. It was either there or the grocery store, so this was a little more secluded. And then I decided to fly along here. I thought it was a little more scenic, getting the clouds in it and the train tracks and the water. I had a bit of a journey to get down to where the accident was. I think it was like 2 kilometers away or something roughly. So anyhow, I just came cruising this way. I should have, when I watched the video back, I thought I wish I had aimed a little bit more right and then just flew on an angle, because then we could have, saw the nice clouds and stuff. But anyway, it's just coming up here on the left. But the interesting thing was that it was a matter of just a couple of minutes from the time we got from the accident scene up here when we get there to where we parked. Well, you guys will have saw how far the flight was, so how long that would take. Maybe with setting up the drone, maybe 5 minutes. And in that time, somehow they got all the damn ambulances and fire trucks and everything out of there. We're gonna get there, and the cops are still there, and they're doing their investigation. And spoiler alert, the news shows up and whatever. So you'll see that in a few minutes. But yeah, I was just really amazed how quickly they cleared out. And luckily, as far as I can tell, I don't think anyone was seriously injured in any of this or anything, so that was good. So the intersection we're looking at there, what happened is that main road that goes across the screen, we had to make a right there and go around the farm there on the left-hand side of the screen. But now it seems that in this footage they already had the road opened up like that quickly. Oh, sorry, that's where we came out. You can actually still see the cops blocking the road. Sorry, that's how we went around that big triangle there. That was the way around the accident. And don't worry, I get closer. So and trust me, I won't blame you guys if you leave. It's not too exciting, like, you know what I mean. There's no carnage. It's not good, obviously, for YouTube creators to say my video sucks, but it is what it is. It was just another flight to make. I was hoping to get there with all of them there, but as you can see, all the traffic going around. And sorry for the beep. That's just my fish tank refilling with water. Yeah, so we had to cruise around. You see all the traffic lined up, and this was where the accident was. You see 4 bikes and a pickup truck. Thinking that that's all the ones that were involved. I heard on the scanner, though, only 3 of the bikes needed to be towed, and 1 didn't. Now, I did a little clip the other day, zoomed in. I'm not bothering to zoom in on this, but just showing the cops, when I get down over here, showing the cops looking up at the drone or whatever, but they didn't really care. I was kind of which is good, but I mean, it would have been cool to get a point or a wave, or maybe scratch his cheek with his middle finger up. You know what I mean? Something like that. Because if I had been the cop, I probably would have done that just because it's funny, right? Um, so yeah, at first I wanted to come in high because I don't want to interrupt what they're doing, obviously. But now they've got the road back open. Now you see all the cars going by, and their investigation is almost over. And well, I gotta say that, but I still got another 11 minutes of flight. So, and they were here the whole time, and I only brought it back because my 30% warning came up. So I wish I could have got closer to, you know what I mean, to get like really good views of everything. But at the same time, I don't want to. There's wires there. I could see wires on the screen, so I think you can see it right there. And I had to be careful for that. And I wasn't too concerned with the farmer coming out and shooting the drone down. Not with that many cops around. So that was one good thing, I guess. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those flights. Mostly, I just kind of hover here and look around, see what's going on. And no bike for me. I had my Enduro, but I ended up selling it. It wasn't good enough for the track. Like, it was a fun bike, you know what I mean? You could rip it through the neighborhood, not all properly. Like, it was plated, but only plated and insured, but only for the for off-road. So, and I had no interest in putting that particular bike on the road, all legal, street legal. And for off-road, I've got the moto vlogs on here, but it was just shit. It was the tires weren't wide enough, and the grip on them, because it was an enduro, so it had street tires, and it fall too much, on loose sand and mud. It gets stuck in the mud. It was a 4-stroke. It didn't really have the 200 4-stroke. Didn't have the power to pull through wet mud that well, and on sand it was too slippery because the tires were just too thin and the tread wasn't that great. So what ends up happening as I'm flying here back onto the story is that all of a sudden a photographer from, I think it was CHCH News, will come strolling by, and then we heard on the police scanner after, as we were leaving or whatever, the police were giving him, they had to sign I think that's him right there, the media guy. They had to sign a media release for him, and I was like, oh, well, I guess I skipped that step because I forgot to go and ask him for a media release, but I'm sure that was what they mean, is giving him a statement and stuff like that for his story, whereas I just make up my own story. So you guys are in luck. What happened was the red bike was doing a catwalk, and the guy's old lady was on the back, and you got to picture this, my story here. His old lady was on the back, and she was like wearing like low-cut jean shorts, right? But they were really low, and so her thong was sticking up the back. What happened was the guy on the black bike you see right there in the top left kind of area, the first one on the gravel, he was cruising, standing on his pegs, trying to get a look down the back of her shorts, which obviously he shouldn't have been doing. And whatever, then the front bike, when he let down the catwalk, the black bike pumped into his back tire, and then the two bikes behind him skidded, trying to avoid the accident, and ended up dumping their bikes. And the first bike that's in there, the two guys standing by it, he just saw it in his mirror, and he pulled over to check out the situation. But luckily the girl with the thong was okay. Keeping in mind, of course, that I just made that whole story up. That's not the real story. I didn't get a story, so I had to give you guys a story. But yeah, at least everyone in my story was okay. Nobody got seriously hurt. The girl's thong lived to thong another day, and all the bikes were okay. Some bumps and bruises, but they're probably already back on the road. That cop was kind of weird, because he had like a greenish gray uniform, which isn't like our standard uniform around here, but I guess it just made him cooler. I'm going to call him a captain, because that's just what I figure. We'll just say he was a captain. And you can see the media guy there. He's got his tripod all set up and filming. At first I didn't actually know it was a media guy, though. I thought it was the police doing their accident scene investigation. And I was like, oh, that's kind of odd that they would open the road while they're doing their investigation. But then afterwards, I realized what it was, the cameraman or whatever for CH. So there's the one bike, he's cruising away past the cop on the gravel. And when you watch that back, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I picture that bike sliding because, you know, you can see that that's on an angle, the shoulder of the road there, but you just kind of picture it sliding off into the ditch or something. But anyway, it was so this was the one accident. On the way down there, we saw another accident, and then in the city there was an accident when we were just pulling into Port Dover. It was raining, and there's a bike laying in the middle of the road, and the old guy on the ground. I talked about that in my other video, but firemen were already there. There was no truck, but they were walked over, so I'm guessing they weren't too far or something. But this is a really cool thing to check out. Like, I definitely plan on doing this again. As far as I know, that was the only Friday the 13th we're going to have this year. But it's fun to go and hang out and check it out. I've still got a second flight over Port Dover to upload. So I got to get on that too, actually. That's really, when I picked up the laptop to make this video, that's the video I was going to make. And then I kind of saw this one, and I was like, oh yeah, let's see, you know what? Upload that. And I would be surprised if anyone sticks around to the end. And I'm serious, guys. You really don't have to. I'm not out anything other than a bit of air flapping out of my mouth here. So if you guys got to bounce, because it doesn't get too exciting, really. I'm just going to hover here for a bit, and then I'm going to fly by the news van. I think I might come a little lower or something and check out the cops, or maybe not. I thought I did, though. Do you guys, if you guys saw an accident, I guess if you're still here or whatever, might as well get you to comment. If you saw an accident like this, do you think that you would pull off somewhere and try to make a movie out of it, or would you just keep going? Some people might say it's inconsiderate to do it. I don't know. You guys leave comments below. I think that I remained, you know, pretty considerate to the situation. I wasn't bugging anybody, so I don't see any real harm in it, and I would actually prefer, like, I think that they need to relax the laws and start getting the news agencies using the drones, because they can get a lot better footage, first of all, and they're better for the environment, I would imagine. They're not, you know, burning through jet fuel or whatever a helicopter runs on, and yeah, they're a lot quieter, right? This thing can just buzz around 50 feet above you, no problem. So hopefully one day they are the norm, and that's just the way you know, news goes. Because a lot of times we have this place, our news station called CP24 here, and there's stories like today. I saw their story: a school bus got hit by a fuel truck and caved in the back end a bit. 7 kids injured. It was up in Halton Hills. It's like 35-40 minutes, I think, about from me. Something like that, and I thought about going over to check it out, but of course, just like anything that happens that's worth going to fly over, the CP24 news chopper comes from Toronto, and you know, their helicopter probably goes 200 miles an hour or something, so they always beat me, and then they generally stay and hover for quite a while, so not that I would be flying anywhere near how high they are. They got a telephoto lens. They're, you know, generally 1,000 feet up or something, right? Like I've seen them recording before, and they stay up. But there's that news van, and maybe he'll see himself on my video. That would be funny if he was like, "Hey, that was me." And yeah, today I was out actually. I was flying in Hamilton, or I don't know if it's part of Hamilton or Burlington or whatever, and I ran into one of my subscribers that had bought a bunch of shirts off me, and that was cool. He walked up, and I was just talking to a photographer out there, and he walks up and he's like, "Hey, Mike," and I was like, "Oh, hi," and he's like, "You don't recognize me?" And I was like, "No," and I forgot who he was, and I just got a bad memory, so anyway, as soon as he told me, I was like, "Oh yeah, hey, how's it going?" Whatever. But it's kind of cool. I've had several people local people that have said they wanted to fly with me and stuff. So hey, maybe one day. It's for me. I don't often have a plan of where I'm going, other than like stuff like this, which, you know what I mean. if I run into people down there, it's cool. They know my truck, whatever. That's cool, and maybe some of you I will hook up with one day, and we'll do some flying together or something. I don't mind. And yeah, just like now I'm just working my way back. I guess when I got there, you know what I was saying about a few minutes to get set up. I also had to wait a few minutes because there was a biker taking a piss behind the building, so we had to wait for him to finish up. I guess I didn't really have to. I could have put him in my movie, but figured it'd be nice of me to wait and let him finish what he was up to. And for the way back, I just kind of held back towards me and kept it angled towards the clouds for the nice view here. With some contrast and stuff like that, I'm sure I could have made that look really, really cool, but I'm using Windows Movie Maker right now, and it does not have those features. I use VideoPad for some stuff, but I find it to be a bit more of a pain in the ass to use. It's not the thing on the side here, the view box or whatever, the preview box, isn't as clear on that, so I prefer using Movie Maker whenever possible. But I'm going to come in for my landing, and hopefully anyone that's actually still here enjoyed the video. You must have somewhat. If you stuck in here for almost 17 minutes, good for you. And we'll see you on the next adventure, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and be sure to click the like button if you don't mind. See ya.